Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the T1 sprint race around Bahrain. I'm TJM, your host for tonight's race. Round 1 around Bahrain provided an entertaining race, but also some shockers. Henkers, who has dominated T1 for the past 3 seasons, didn't have it all his way. Challenged throughout the race by numerous drivers, he was eventually knocked off the top step and podium after unfortunate contact with Pigley, who handed the win to the best. So the question on everyone's lips right now is, can Henkers return to form around this tricky and high wear track? Or have the new regs changed changes caused upset with someone else looking to take the reins from Henkers? That hasn't ChatGPT Piggle. I put a lot of effort into that one. Thank you very kindly. But anyway, welcome to the beautiful Barcelona track. Looking very sunny today. As we've got 17 drivers on track. Unfortunately, the best who did take the win last week isn't available this week. So we will have a new championship leader by the end of today. As mentioned, today is a sprint race, so we will have a very short quali run here, along with an 11 lap race, followed by main quali, and then a 33 lap race as well. I don't know what the weather is for the race or anything like that currently, but it's looking nice and sunny for quali at least, as we have got Sazos Lizard, who will be our first driver around the Barcelona track to set his lap. As anyone that will historically know, I am not a man that knows the tracks inside out, so I will just be saying it's a good corner or not. But anyway, Slizzard starts his lap, boost mode straight away active, straight mode on as he blasts down to turn 1, a nice clear track ahead of him. Hitting his braking zone roundabout now. Takes a bit too much curb down to turn 1 personally, but kisses the apex nicely at 2 and 3. Keeping it nice and tight. Boost levels looking a little bit low at this point, but you can recharge quite a bit around this track. A 22 flat for sector 1 as he comes into the bit of a trickier section of sector 2 now. Once again, the battery is looking a little bit low at this point, but you can recharge it quite a bit through sector 2. On the run down now to the back end of sector 2, bit of a tight squeeze here as he runs over the curb again, but kisses the Kasoshi curb very nicely and unfortunately goes wide and invalidates his lap. So we'll jump back to another driver who is on their lap now. If I can find one, that is. We've got Johnny B then, who looks like he's going to be the first one that sets a lap here. On the run down to sector 3, traction here can be a little bit loose. He goes a bit wide there, but still keeps it nice and clean. Battery levels looking a little bit low, but recharging very nicely there as Pigley's left the session. What a fraud. Anyway, Johnny B now runs to the line, keeping it very tight here. Understeers a little bit wide there, but still keeps it nice. No battery to the line, and the first lap on the board is a 14.6. As you'll have to excuse me for 2 seconds while I get Pigley back in. There's your invite, Pigley, as SA bolts at a 15.3, but Junu Vane set to 14 flat. A fantastic lap from the Mercedes driver there. Unknown sticks with a 14.5, 5 tenths away from Junu Vane. As we'll go back to see who's on the lap. Smevens is just starting his. I can't find a driver who is on a lap. Olavici outdoors Junu Vane only just, but still a fantastic lap from the Williams driver there. Looks like the second Williams driver has come across the line now. It wasn't a Williams driver, unfortunately. Please do ignore me. It's Noah's starting his lap. Jack W onto the line. A 14.033 on softs though. And only just behind Olavici, who you'd imagine would go quick on a set of softs here. as we'll continue back on to try find drivers on laps here. You will have to bear with me with being by myself. We'll jump on board with Smevens here, or Smevens, as he's coming through sector 3 now. A bit of traffic ahead of him, so we'll be getting a bit of dirty air back and perhaps a bit of understeer. Hopefully drivers ahead look like they're clearing their heads, so it shouldn't be an issue. Henke set to 13.8, a fantastic lap from the Audi driver. Smevens found the final corner, set to 14.3, so Henkes is definitely back on form for this week, setting a 13.8 on mediums. With only a small handful of drivers now waiting to set a lap, we will jump on board with It's Noah, who is coming round the final corners now. And notice trend here is that all the drivers are running out of boost mode before they get to the onto the line, and It's Noah can only set a 15 flat. We'll jump back to Fishsticks, who we know is on a run here. No battery at all as he comes into sector 3, but you can recharge very heavily around here as mentioned. Very nicely and smooth here. Bit wide at the apex there, but you can get away with it here. Looking very clean from the Cadillac driver here. Shouldn't be getting too much dirty air from the car in front. Blast to the Rhine. Perhaps the person who's seen the most battery so far, but set to 14.8 on softs. And that is probably about it for the first round of runs. So we'll jump on side of Silverside Boy, who is just starting his lap now. We'll jump on board with the Alpine driver. Breaks about the 100 metre mark here. Turns it in very nicely for turns 1 and 2. Kissing the apex nicely for turn 3 here. See what the Alpine driver can set for sector 1. A 22.195, so it's about a tenth and a half slower than what we've seen so far, but he is on a set mediums, of course. Coming through the second part, kissing the apex nicely and rounding curves where he needs to be. Let's see how he does coming through the set corners here. Kisses the apex nicely once again, hits the sausage curve which can unbalance the car, but luckily doesn't affect Gary in this instance. On the run down to the sector 3, he's got two cars ahead of him here. One's got out the way, the other though could be potentially blocking here, which isn't very kind. He get out the way nicely there though, just in time. Gary coming through the last couple of corners now. Bit of decent battery here from the Alpine driver. Definitely one of the best batteries we've seen so far. Burns it all to the line and only good enough for 14.9 on a set of mediums. Oh, a bit wide from the Haas driver there. Just about keeps it in the line, but 3 tenths down. Solicitors isn't enjoying this life here as he's invalidated his lap once again. We'll jump on board with Steel LDN, who's just coming through sector 1 now. A tenth and a half up coming through sector 1. See what the Red Bull driver can produce here. The battery levels are looking okay for this point to the track. Very nice and smooth there for the Red Bull driver. Let's see how he tackles this bit of corner. Very smooth indeed, avoids the curb on entry and the sausage curb on exit. Kisses the apex nicely there. Run down to sector 3 with no battery, but it's okay, we can recharge through sector 3. Very nicely done indeed there. Runs the car over the curbs, doesn't go too wide, turns it in very nicely. Kissing the apexes once again. Loses a bit of traction there, but catches it very nicely. On the run now to the final corners. Shouldn't get much understeer here. Look pretty flat from there. See what the Red Bull driver can do and puts himself P7 with a 14.3. Really good driving from the lap from the Red Bull driver there, as Pigley once again has left, so we'll get him back in again. Apologies for that little bit of blip there, ladies and gentlemen. As we'll jump aboard of Unknown Sticks here, who's shown is just 3 tenths up coming through sector, just at sector 2 mark, so we'll see what you can do at this point. As I've seemed to have lost my menus and can't get them back up, thank you. Unknown Sticks goes 4 tenths quick and he sets off, so 14.1, 3 tenths behind our P1 sitter currently. As we'll see if anyone else is on the lap now. Fish Sticks has invalidated his run, but got time to recharge. Actually, he's off the battery, so that should be Fish Sticks done for sprint quali. We'll jump aboard of It's Noah. Try to give all drivers as much time as he can. Brakes a little bit later than normal drivers there, just between the 1500 metre board. Steven so he kisses the apex, he's very nasty through turns 1 and 2, rides the curb through turn 3, runs the car out wide. Coming into turn 4 now, he's 2 tenths up the Mercedes driver is, as Fish Sticks does retire as expected. Apologies about that, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm just going on personally there. But as we see, It's Noah once again coming through sector 2, looking very clean for Mercedes driver. Runs a bit wide there, but doesn't expect him too much on the exit. It runs through the curbs nicely, and he's half a second up at this point. Looking very good here. Runs the car a bit wide there, but turns it very nicely. Rotating through, avoiding the curb there, but you can ride the curb to help rotate the car. Kissing the apex and almost loses it there through understeer. Understeers wide through the final set of corners as well. Still goes 6 tenths quicker than his time, slots himself into P9. Junu Vane with a massive 13.4. Huge lap from Mercedes driver there. As we'll see what Henkes is doing coming through sector 3 now. He was just showing 3 tenths up, so he needs to pick a little bit more if he wants his pole position. Coming through the final set of corners there, runs it nicely. What's he set? Isn't enough for pole, just about misses out. Unbelievable scenes. Olarichi a tenth behind as well. As we'll look further back, we've got Smevens coming through now, the final set of corners, as SA Bolt pops himself into P4 for 13.9. See what the Haas driver can do here as well. Puts himself, as we've just seen a car run wide there. That was a Haas, I believe. I'm not quite sure whose that was. I think that was Jack W went wide, so that would have been his lap invalidated. Karen's just done the same as well. It's Nowhere is invalidated. Silverside Boys giving the last driver available to set a lap here. Let's see what you can do. Goes 5 tenths quicker, but only placed him into P13. And that is all she wrote. Pigley, do you need an invite back? As we wait for Pickle, see if he needs an invite back or not. And that's what she wrote for the sprint quali then. Junu Vane with a massive 13.443. His close friend Hankers just behind on a 13.476. Then Olarichi just over a tenth back as a 13.574. As I will send Pigley another invite now. Oh, apologies for clicking wrong thing there. There you go, Pigley. Just give me 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, while I'll just get myself a drink. So as a quick run through for our top 10 drivers, we've got Junu Vane on pole, Henkers, Olarichi, SA Bolt, Jack W, Unknown Sticks, Slizzard, Smevens, Karen and Steele rounding out the top 10. Then we got It's Noah, Johnny B, Silverside Boy, Fish Sticks, Cruiser, Pigley was unfortunately unable to set a lap. Then Gruntsy, who has unfortunately got himself a quali ban. Oh no, he hasn't. I'm not quite sure he didn't set a lap. But yes, Junior Vane, you're alright. The Wall of Finland strikes one again. Mon the Ashdown. As we load into the sprint race for 11 laps, and it's looking lovely and warm around the Barcelona circuit. Bust down the Ashdown. As Pigley is joined once again, so Pigley's car is going to be AI on the race start, unfortunately, if anyone is listening. Come on, guys, to get at least 12th from this. Go on, lads, cheery man. You know he won't get 12th though. And Pigley, the fraud, has left the session again. So we'll get him back in now. Oh, Steele. That is not ideal. I mean, at least you only use one set. That's the main thing. And you still qualified top 10 there, so you did a good job. Up the Steele. But as we wait for the drivers now to pick their strategies and, well, I say strategies, pick what tyre they want to run here. Obviously, with it being a sprint race and 11 laps, you'll only want to run the one set. But I do wonder if anyone will attempt to use the softs here, or are people going to be looking at the hards and mediums? Oh, Pigley, that is not ideal from you there, fella. Not ideal at all. Apologies about that, ladies and gentlemen. Mini Me wants a shout out. So, hello to Mini Me Oliver, who has begged for a shout out on the FPRL stream. Pigley, yeah, I do agree. Guy needs to sort his life out. Up the Mini TJ. Huge from the Clatter lads, that is. As I'm convinced at this point it's been longer than 3 minutes. As we are still waiting for the race go. Come on, Gary, sort your issues out. Let's go. Huge. The Pigley's joined back just in time to see his car crash out. But anyway, and it's lights out and away we go. Julie Vane gets a great start there. Weaving to try and break the toe, but it hasn't really worked out there as we run down to turn 1 here. Oliver Rich has left the session, unfortunately. We'll gain back in momentarily as a car has gone wide there. I believe that is Slizzard. As Slizzard's been spun round, contact has been made. Cruz has gone wide. I think Steele's had contact there. Pigley-Bot has made his way through somehow, and just give me 2 seconds as I try and get Ola Ritchie back in. Apologies about this, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the invite sent back out, so we'll jump back on board with the action. Unknown Sticks here. Looking at the back of SA Bolt. Won't make the move as we want the boost mode, but thank you very much there, Monkey. It's fantastic to be back on comms. As we got moves down the back, both Alpine boys fighting each other. Julie Vane and Johnny B. Perhaps not the best thing to be on lap 1 here, fellas. As Pigley-Bot is looking to make moves. I say Pigley-Bot, it could actually be Pigley at this point. As Junie Vane sets the fastest lap, obviously being the leader. And you'll have to give me 2 seconds. I'm a bit rusty on this, ladies and gentlemen. As we've got plenty of moves. I would say Pigley's back in his car here, making the moves. Makes contact with Gary into turn 1. Both drivers still make it through though. But tyre-wise, we've got only 1 driver on the set of hards. We've got 4 drivers on softs. Cruz has just flicked a soft after he's been in the pit. As we've got a Haas, it's just gone wide there. The Ashdown's gone wide. We've got an Aston Martin unknown sticks. It's gone wide as well. Yellow flag through sector 2. Not ideal for the drivers there. Unsure what happened as Olavici has left the session once again. So you'll have to give me 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, while I try getting back in. As we'll try and jump back through the field, see if he missed anything. Unknown Sticks and Johnny B fighting here. Unknown Sticks does get the move done there. And we'll jump forward then to Jack W on the set us off, so right behind Hankers. See what the Hash driver can do here. Junior Vane with the fastest lap again. Jack W, I wonder if he'll try to send it here. Thinks better of it and backs out. As we've got moves going backwards now. Ashdown looks like he's gained positions back. Pigley slots in nicely behind Grunty. And I will jump on for the Pigley here. Go around the outside. Grunty's trying to make the move. Gets the move done before turn 3. Although, did Pigley get back? No, he didn't. Great move by Grunty there. We got moves up ahead. Fish sticks in the back of it's nowhere here. Wonder if the Cadillac driver will try to send it here. Backs out just in time, but the Mercedes driver looks like he's struggling already on lap 3. Fish sticks literally pushing him round sector 2 here. Wonder if Fish will try to use any boost here, whether he'll sit behind. Choosing to sit behind, trying to get that boost mode again. As we'll jump forward again to Jack W on this front battle. Very close between the top 3 drivers, just 5 tenths separates them. SA Bolt just about keeping in contact with him, so he'll still be getting the boost mode with no battery. But battery wise, Junior Vane has got nothing. Hankers has got battery but refused to use it. Jack W here looks for a move but sides back out again. SA Bolt is being dropped by the top 3 now, and we've got big gaps forming. Fish sticks making the move onto its no into turn 1. Just about caught the back end of that. It's no has got no battery though, so he's going to be a bit of a sitting duck here. Smevens, as apologies, let me get a couple of drivers back in. I do apologise about this, ladies and gentlemen. Pigley will send you one for you as well. As apologies about that, Pigley bot has now been taken over by Unknown Sticks after his amazing runs that he was doing. Grunty looking for move on the Mercedes driver. Contact made into the corner. Grunty has lost a bit of a front wing there, and that will affect him on a track like this where you need it. It's now we're looking for the switchback. Just can't get it done. But Grunty here, just about staying within the boost mode or the overtake boost. And I wonder how much that wing damage is going to affect the Williams driver for the rest of this race. It's Noah though, pulling out from Silverside Boy, covering off that move as Johnny B gets past Piglybot now as well. Ashdown and Fish sticks are fighting it out side by side into turn 3. Ashdown gets the move done with Fish sticks backing out, obviously hasn't got that overtake boost mode, so is missing that little bit of extra power. As this is probably the closest fight on track we've got currently. Fish sticks is still trying to keep this in place though. Obviously them softs will be wearing a lot quicker compared to the mediums, as you can tell the grip coming through the corner. Fish sticks is dropping a couple of attempts here already, but keeping within that 1 second will give him that boost overtake mode that is much needed on a track like this. Obviously we've got the pockets now forming out up and down the track. The top 3 seem to have settled down a little bit, just a second separates them all. SA Bolt is just out of touching distance of boost, although he is trying to close that gap back down with Karen behind. Just also about keeping in, as I'll get Olavici back in again. I do apologise about this, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I am by myself, so we do need to pause to get drivers back in. But the gap between P3 and P4 is just about coming down now. Looks like the action on track has just about settled down. A bit of breathing space, obviously. We're kicking in now, halfway through the sprint race. Drivers will be protecting them tyres to get to the end, and also boost mode will be playing a bit of big factor here. But we'll jump back to P6, P7 and P8 of Ashdown, Fishsticks and Grunty. Closest battle on track we've got currently. The Cadillac driver doing fantastic to keep on the back of the Haas driver here, but Grunty and the Williams is literally pushing around Fishsticks with that bit of wing damage on the Williams as well. So it's not really affecting the Williams driver by the looks of it. Running out of battery though on the run down to turn 1. It's nowhere almost out of battery. Silverside boy is trying to pull the gap back, but he's also almost out of battery. Fishsticks in a fantastic position. He has 70% battery, so just sitting nicely behind the Haas driver, who is running low on his battery as well. S8 Bolt has closed the gap up. Oh no, he hasn't. S8 Bolt has lost the position to Karen actually. Apologies about that. Obviously the hards will be in the bare condition compared to any other tyre currently. As mentioned, this is a high wear track on the front left. It gets absolutely hammered compared to everywhere else. But there is a gap forming. There is a big gap now between second and third, as it looks like the finish wall of Junior Vane and Henkers is going to see this home. But I do wonder in what position they'll both finish. As we'll jump back to Fishsticks again. Fishsticks about half second back. Grunty's half second back. So he's beginning to fall back just a little bit. It's nose all over the back of Grunty currently, so we'll see what happens here as they run down to turn 1. As apologies, we'll jump forward. Henkers side by side with Junior Vane coming through turn 1. And that's the first strike we've seen from Henkers. I wonder if he'll try and make the move into turn 3. He does make the move, very nicely done. Chops the front end of the Mercedes, but keeps it nice and clean. And I wonder if Henkers will try and hold this lead now, or whether Junior Vane will try attack it back. As we'll jump back again, that wing damage on the Williams is obviously beginning to take effect to the warm softs as well. Dropping the second back, no battery at all. It's only be a matter of time for a Mercedes driver. If it's no, it will make the overtake. As I mentioned, the gaps are beginning to form. Piggly Bart has got past Junior Vane, although I do think that might be Piggly now. Looks like he's picked up a lot of time here, Piggly, against his got his teammate ahead of him, as Steele, who is unfortunately caught up in that lap 1 kerfuffle. As with our first time penalty of the race, it goes to Grunty. 3 seconds from the Williams driver, whose race is going from worse to worse. Oh, and that's a really late move from Grunty there. It's no, it does get the move done, but that was very, very late from the Williams driver there. I do wonder if the stewards will take a look at that one. Wasn't very nice from the Mercedes, from the Williams driver at all. But due to this fighting, it's no is now 2 seconds behind P7, so P8 obviously in the sprint race is the last point scoring position, so it's no be looking to try to keep all of this. As Piggly has overtaken his teammate into P12. I wonder if the Red Bull drivers will try to work together a little bit here. But we'll go forward to probably the closest battle on track we've got currently. Between P3 and P4. Karen all over the back of Jack W here. Or Karen on the back of Jack W. And we'll see if Jack W can hold the Audi driver behind here. Audi, obviously, he's got the boost mode active. Drain the battery all the way down to turn 1. Side by side into turn 1. Both break roughly same points. Very respectful driver between the two drivers here. Jack W though just about keeps ahead, but them softs will not be liking this at all. as he's got no battery. Karen around the outside gets the move done to turn 3. As we'll look back as well, Grunty, that wing damage, is obviously suffering a lot more now with the worn softs. Unknown Sticks moved himself up to P10. Gary has moved himself up into P9. He'll have to get a bit of a move on now if he wants that last point scoring position. As it looks like it's settled down just a little bit, which is nice for my voice as well. We'll look back to the forward. Obviously, Junior Vane sitting behind his good friend Hankers, beginning to drop a bit of time here. Hankers' dominance, but could ball the sport, some would say. As Unknown Sticks makes a move on to Gary and to come into sector 3. Gary hanging it round the outside, has to give the space and loses the position again. Alpine driver looking very punchy indeed though, as they'll run to, oh, Gary, and that is Gary's hopes of any point scoring position for the sprint race out the window. Absolute fraud as they go side by side through turn 1. A bit of an early turn in there from Unknown Sticks for sure. Costs the Aston Martin driver quite a bit there. Obviously Gary into P9 now, but that 3 seconds hanging over his head, same as Grunty. As Karen has now picked himself up 3 seconds as well, and that will that won't affect him too much. He might drop down to P6 at the end. Obviously we're on the last lap now, and yet Junior Vane has been dropped by Hankers here. Hankers, who is making amends for last week around Bahrain, showing tier 1 to why he's dominated the tier for so many seasons. Coming around the final corner, Audi driver weaving side to side. It's P1 for Hankers, P2 for Junior Vane, P3 provisionally for Karen, but we'll see where it drops him down. Jack gets P3. Karen stays P4, SA Bolt P5, Ashdown P6, Fish Sticks P7. It's Noah in P8, Unknown Sticks P9, Gaza's P10. Gunty is going to finish P12. Steele, after that incident in on the first lap, is finishing P11. Pigley, who I'm not sure if it's him or his bot, is P13. Ola Richie in P14. And then, unfortunately for Slizard, Johnny B and Cruiser, all caught up through variants and various incidents are coming down the line. Fair play to Cruiser as well. Obviously had to box and saw it out regardless. Of course, I'll give you another invite shortly, Olavici. When we load into quali, I will make sure I get you an invite across. But if we jump across to the sprint race results, as mentioned, our top 8, which are the scoring positions, are Hankers, Junior Vane, Jack W, Karen, SA Bolt, Ashdown, Fish Sticks, and It's Noah. Very unfortunate there from Silverside Boy, who will definitely feel harshly done to going into turn 1, obviously. It looks like Unknown Sticks turned in early from our point of view, but the stewards will have a better view on that for sure. As Johnny B mentioned, he got wing damage lap 1, turn 2. Yeah, it looked like a bit of kerfuffle there, Johnny B. Very unfortunate indeed. As we're loaded into the main quali at this point now. As we've got a bit of rain on Barcelona now. Wonder how long this rain is going to stick around for, as I am locked out of my menu currently. As we finally load in, so I'll get all of it, another invite across now. Obviously, Park Ferme is off for the drivers, so they will be able to change setups here. So they could put a wet setup on or an setup on. Obviously, if it looks wet enough, depending on what the game's going to suggest here. as we'll put the tyres up, and yeah, everyone is going into low cruisers, looking at softs. Racing Bulls pulling the Ferrari strategy right there. As we'll jump forward to Steele, who's first on track. Man is doing Formula Drift to the best as we know it. As yeah, that's it. Steele, you put a bit of he is not going to be impressed. We've caught that on stream. We love the Formula drift attempt there, Steele. Just unfortunate we caught the end of it. As anyway, we'll move forward. So we've got Johnny B, who'll be our first person who sets a lap here. The track doesn't look too bad, but it's obviously going to be greasy. And I do wonder if this rail will continue through to the main race. Johnny B struggling to turn the car in there, but may need a couple laps to try and get these tyres up to temp. As we are seeing a couple of drivers debate the soft tyres here. And I do wonder, like I said, the track doesn't look too bad, but it'll be a little bit greasy at this point. As we can see on board with Johnny B, that the car isn't responding at all. But we'll apologies, let me get the telemetry data up. So he has got his overtake mode on. As he runs down to turn 1 now, needs to brake. Brakes a little bit too late there for sure, but just about keeps it within the line. Coming through the rest of the corners, the car is just washing out through the corners. The car hasn't got grip at all. 24.2 for sector 1. Coming through sector 2 now, as we're seeing Johnny B seems to be struggling for a bit of grip, and the car doesn't want to respond to him. And we can see the rear sliding round as he's coming through corner exits. Kissing the apexes nicely though, for sure. Runs a little bit wide there. The car not liking that at all. Catches the car very nicely indeed. Straight line mode activated. Boost mode all the way down. No battery at all. As it does look like the rain has stopped. As Johnny B loses the rear again and does just about catches it. Not enjoying these conditions at all, the Alpine isn't. As we'll jump on board, but the rain is still continuing on, even though off board it looked like it stopped. Johnny B through the final corner now, keeps it very nice and tidy indeed. Straight to the line at 24.2, as we'll try and jump backwards now to see who else on the lap. Ashdown at 21.4. I did mention Johnny B was struggling with traction. Steele at 21.5. Steele does love a bit of rain. Definitely a driver keep an eye on here for sure. As we know, he obviously Formula drifted out the pits to try and get some temps in, which hopefully didn't ruin the wear on him. But we'll probably see drivers do a couple of push laps here on the interweather. As Silverside Boy has missed, Grunty is out of quality for being facing the wrong way. Not ideal for the Williams driver. But as mentioned, Silverside Boy, fish sticks are risking the softs here. So we will jump on board with Gary just to see how bad the conditions are. As he runs down to turn 1 now. It does, I'm not entirely sure this is the right decision here, but we'll see what it does. Hits the brakes 100 metre board, probably, I would have said that was a bit late, but guess the car stopped very nicely. As we hear that full traction, spinning into full force, ladies and gentlemen, and he'll love me for saying that. Anyway, coming through sector 2, it's a 23.8 for the Alpine driver. Fastest on track supposedly, so we'll wait and see what's if that is true or not. But the car isn't liking the braking zones, he is missing the apexes, but really nicely over the curbs here. Coming through one of the trickier corners, just about gets it turned in. The car complaining about the grip for sure. Coming at the top of the hill, as he's needing to lift off the throttle quite a bit. but this will show if the track is ready for softs or not. 57.4 through sector 2, not a purple sector though, so we'll wait to see what the time is. Coming through sector 3 now, Gary is walking the car through sector 3 in some of these corners. We'll see what happens though coming through his final set of corners. As he puts his boost mode on early, surprised the car stuck there at all. A 22.2 for the Alpine driver, and I just simply don't think the track is ready for softs yet. As we'll look through fish sticks, yep, 21.9 off second off the into runners. I think it is a little bit too early for the soft tyres personally. As Piglet looks like he's going out on softs as well, and we'll jump round to see if anyone else is on a lap. We've got Steele coming through sector 3. Looks like he was half a tenth up through sector 2. Bit wiggly on the rear end now, but Steele and the Red Bull whacks it on pole with a massive 128 as he almost drops it as well. Don't do that to us, Steele. Come on. Huge lap from the Red Bull though. As we'll drop back, as we'll look back going forward, Henker's going even quicker for 20.3. Steele will be livid with that. Half a second quicker. Karen with a 20.8, just about quicker than Steele. But it does look like the rain has stopped now. It is obviously overcast, so we'll have to wait to see how the track responds to it. But drivers are now in the pits waiting to put on them slick tyres. As we'll jump on board of Gary, who's going for a second push lap here. The car looks a lot more comfy coming through turns 1 and 2 and 3 for sure. Looks like the track has magically dried up as he's 1.1 seconds quicker just alone through sector 1, purple sector 1, so we'll see if that is true or not shortly. Coming through sector 2 now and turns 5, runs a little bit wide there but keeps it on the curb. As we come through 6, 7, Gary is, oh no, Steele. I wonder what's happened with the Red Bull driver there. But Gary coming through sector 2 now is 3.2 seconds up. So as it stands, he is looking for pole position, well, provisional pole position. We'll see what happens through sector 3 here, as he is low on fuel. I wonder if he'll walk the car home or not. He is going to commit to the lap. Coming through down to the line now, and we'll see what Gary can set. Whacks it on pole, 1 second quicker than Pigley. Ooh. I'm not quite sure Pigley set that. But regardless, anyway, fish sticks now 17.3, so 3 laps on the laps for these guys. So yeah, the track is definitely ready now. As we'll jump back now to see who else on the lap. We've got It's Nowhere coming through sector 2 now. Apologies, I am just checking to see if any drivers need assistance in Discord. It's Nowhere is coming through the final sets of corners now, and we'll see what the Mercedes driver can do. Whacks it on pole, provisional pole, nearly 1.5 seconds up on fish sticks, and it's safe to say the track is ready now for these faster laps. Sales all slizzard, it's a 15.4. So as mentioned, the track is beginning to ramp up. I can't see how long is left on the clock though, unfortunately, because the yellow flags through sector 2, which are being caused by Gary the Fraud. I'm not quite sure when Reese joined, but welcome to the base, Reese. Nice to see you here. As we've got Olovich coming through sector 1, 2.2 seconds up, so we'll stay on board the Alpine driver here. Obviously had some connection issues within the sprint race, but hopefully got them sorted now. Pigley with a massive 115 flat pretty much. Huge from the Red Bull driver, who once again had his own issues during the sprint race, and throwing down that he has got pace as well. As we'll see what all of Richie can do now coming through sector 2. He has got a Haas in front of him. Johnny B for 14.5. Huge from the other Alpine driver. As we will stay on board with all of Richie here, as Pigley has left the session again. We'll get you an invite across very shortly. It's Junior Vanes at 13.7, so these times are tumbling very quickly. All Richie runs the line, puts himself on provisional pole, but obviously we expect that to change very quickly, as I will get Pigley an invite across now. Why can't I see a Pigley? Right, as just to give me a second, ladies and gentlemen, just taking a quick drink again. I'm not quite sure what you've done here, Reese, but coming out on the Inters isn't ideal, fella. Yeah, I'm not surprised you've been disqualified, to be honest. As your car is trying to get back on track now. Lovely stuff. But we'll jump on board with the Scotsman cruiser. Let's give him a bit of airtime, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure whether he'll appreciate this, but we'll see what the Racing Bull driver can do on his first official run. A 52.9 through sector 2. As Henker set goes fat quickly to a 13.4. Cruiser obviously coming through the final sets of corners now. On the run down to the line and sets himself a 14.9, places himself into provisional P8. As we'll loop back to see what Ashdown is doing. Unknown Sticks is preparing for laps, so look at what Ashdown's doing. Obviously expect him to thump this 21 flat he set. Puts himself into provisional P4 and a 13.9, so about half a second down on Henkers. As we'll loop throughout the field. Junu Vane 2 temps up, purple sector 2. Obviously we don't know if that's his personal or whether that is the best one currently. Bit of formula drift there, but manages about to keep it in shape. Once again coming through the final sectors as he pulls into the pits. Obviously not very happy with that run, or wants to give himself time to do a proper final run. Slizzed into the pits, Cruiser will come into the pits. Fish sticks 1.9 seconds up through sector 2, so we'll see what his time is here. Whacks himself onto provisional P9 for 14.6, outdoes Cruiser by 3 temps. So we'll jump aboard of Unknown Sticks, who we know is definitely on the lap here. Coming through sector 3 now. And through the final corner, and we'll see what the Aston Martin driver can set as his first lap. That's a 13.9 from the Aston Martin driver. He'll have to get round quickly and back into the pits if he wants to even consider getting back out. We'll jump on board with Johnny B here, who has decided to go early on his final run. Doesn't look like he's using much battery, so we'll see if he is on the lap here or not, or whether he's just going to a cool down lap. To me, looks like he's on a lap, so we will stay on board with him as he boosts coming out of turn 2, 3 into 4. 1/10 up on his time. Alpine looking very nicely stuck to the ground at this point compared to when it was. Apologies to see what Pigley was playing by his internet. But regardless, the Johnny B is looking very comfy now coming through sector 2, the back end of sector 2, so we'll see how much he's up. He's half a second off, which will put, won't even move him currently, so yes, I have a big, a strong sector 3 here. So we'll see what the Alpine driver can do. Coming through the corner now. Run down to the line, no battery at all. Goes 6 tenths quicker, keeps himself into P7. As we'll jump forwards or back to a Mercedes. This isn't that Mercedes, so it's the other of It's Noah who's on an outlap as well. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. So I think it's, oh, is it Fish Sticks? Fish Sticks is the first one that is going to come across the line. He was about a tenth down on his time, so we'll see what the Cadillac driver can do here. Coming through the final corner, boost mode activated, and doesn't improve on his time, and you would say that was it for Fish Sticks. As we loop back, Gary moves himself up into P12 on a 14.9. Absolute fraud, Gary. I managed to beat that on Monday night. You absolute fraud. Anyway, let's move back to the rest of the grid. We got Gary, Pigley. Pigley, do you need an invite? It's nowhere. There's got to be other drivers on laps. We'll have a look at Junior Vane that's coming through sector 1 now. Carl looked a little bit loosey-goosey. Just under a tenth up on his time, so he is trying to push for that pole position for sure. We know that he has got the time in him before he peeled off into the pits last time. Blasting down now to a bit of a tricky section through sector 2. Very comfy there for the Mercedes drivers. SA Bolt retires coming through turn 3, which is a bit of a weird place to lose the car. Regardless, Junior Vane now into sector 3. Just under 3 tenths up on his time. Just needs a little bit more, just to ensure he can get that pole position like he did in the sprint race. Looking very comfy indeed for Mercedes driver coming through the final sets of corners. Plenty of battery to see him through to the line. Boost mode activated, run to the line, and puts himself provisional pole on the 13.299. Henk is coming through sector 3, so we'll stay on board with him to see if he can outdo his one of his very close friends. Boost mode he has gotten on, does improves, but not enough to take pole position away from Junior Vane. Olarici once again improves, but not enough to take pole position. Unknown Sticks has pulled to the side, he's got no fuel. Jack W puts himself up into P5. As I think we got an Alpine, yeah, we got a Gary that's coming round, he's 6 tenths up currently, so massive improvement from the Alpine driver here. He'll pull himself into the P10, into the top 10. If he continues up to gain a bit more time. Gary to the line, not much battery here. Uses battery before he gets into the proper straight. We'll see what he can do. Drops time through sector 3, half a second quicker, puts himself into P11. And the last driver coming round to set a lap is going to be It's Noah, who appears to have backed out. And that is all she wrote again for qualifying. So just a quick run through of our qualifying positions. We've got Junior Vane on pole again, same as he did in the sprint race. Henker's P2 once again same. Olarici, Johnny B will be hoping to avoid any lap 1 collisions here. Jack W, Ashdown, Unknown Sticks, Slizzard, Karen, It's Noah. Gaza who bottled it for sure. SA Bolt, Fish Sticks, Cruiser, Piglybot, Steele who Formula drifted into the pit lane and retired, and then we got Reese who was DSQ'd. as we'll see in a minute if the rain has carried over from quali or not. I'm sure the drivers, I know a couple of drivers will be hoping for rain here, but I think the vast majority will be hoping for a dry track, and it is nice and sunny around the Catalunya circuit, as unfortunately not indeed Steele, unfortunately not. It is very sad. I could have seen a Steele last the first there for sure. But yeah, nice and sunny around the Catalunya circuit. I wonder if the drivers are debating whether they can try pull a one stop off here or whether they'll try do the two stop. To do the one stop, you are going to have to be very gentle on your tyres. What's the strat, Steel? I would do, depending on how what tyres you took, it's either it's a two stop race personally, and it's either medium hard or medium hard. Medium to lap 10. No, you could probably do medium to. If you got two hard, Steel, or you took two hards, okay, that's great news. So I would take mediums to lap 8-9, and then do 2 equal stints on the hards, so about 12 laps on each, give or take. Don't shoot the mesh and do Steel if it doesn't work, obviously. But yeah, a two-stop race is the way forward, I think. Unless you want to risk and try and get a puncher on that front left. Oh dear, Steel. Oh dear. That is not ideal. At least part firm is off so you can update it. Mud indeed, Ashdown. Mud indeed. As it looks like my party's disconnected. Fantastic. Lovely stuff. So we'll sort that one out as I'm back in the party now and with an overlay. I am not quite sure why it's doing that. As the race is about to start, we'll turn the overlay off. Right, thanks for that, Piglet. As we got a jump start, we got a couple of jump starts there. What has happened there between S8 Bolt, Silverside Boy and It's Nowhere? Regardless though, Olivici is out of the session again. Steele's making moves already into P14. But yeah, I'd love to know what happened there between the jump starters for sure, as the pack is battling around into turn 3. Absolute mad moves going on down the back of the pack for sure. Steele getting past Fishsticks into one of the toughest corners. Fishsticks backs out. He doesn't. Fishsticks is having contact with Reese there for sure. But we'll jump forward to the top 2 as there is a yellow flag behind for Pigglybot, who I think that is Piggle. Not ideal for the Red Bull driver at all, but we'll look at tyres. As most of the field has gone medium, Steele's gone hard, Fishsticks and Piggly on softs, which I feel is a bit of a mistake around here, but we'll see what the drivers can do. Obviously Junior Vane set the quickest lap. Henkers looks like he isn't messing around in the main race though, but doesn't consider making a move as we'll loop backwards. No real moves going on. Cruiser getting the move done on Olovici, as Piglet is having an absolute nightmare and lagging about. Oh, okay, yeah, Piglet, yeah, your internet is really screwed. As the three drivers who picked up drivers have served it very nicely. Piglet has left the session and DNF'd. Probably for the best there, Piglet, unfortunately. What a shame about your internet for sure. You can always blame Gary though. As, oh yes, apologies, Olovici does need an invite. Apologies about that one. Let me get you an invite across now, sir. Apologies about that, as Grunty is making 6. Fish Sticks fights it back straight away though. Fighting around's cost him this disadvantage here. Can Fish Sticks keep him in the boost mode? It looks like he's just about kept within it. Yes, he did, just about, but obviously he is losing time as well, as he is turning on and off his boost mode, which is an interesting tactic. As we saw forward that Reese is making moves, Steel are making moves as well into P8. That bit of a setup change that Red Bull have done is obviously paying off for the Red Bull driver. Keep an eye on him for sure. Effing House City at the Big 40. Huge, Piglet. Huge. As the top 7 are pretty close on track currently, so different to what we saw in the sprint race. Obviously the drivers will understand what the tyre wear is doing now and will have adjusted setups potentially to try and counteract some of the issues they were seeing. A bit of a, I would say, a DRS train, but it's not a DRS train anymore. As Fish Sticks and Grunty are still fighting behind here. Fish Sticks getting the move done back on Grunty. I think he is just outside of the boost mode range here. We should see it deactivate, which it has done, and Grunty should get the move done, but Fish Sticks does have a lot of battery. As Olovici has left the session again, Reese has made the move on to Steel, so hopefully these two can work together now, as I'll try and get you back in now, Ola. Invite sent to you again, sir, as we'll jump back to the action on track lap 4, and I cannot wait for this race to be finished for the sanity of my own voice. As the gaps are beginning to appear slightly. Unknown Sticks on that borderline 1 second, but looks like he has got a good exit through sector 2. As I say that, the time is dropping once again. Dropped out to that 1 second. Unknown Sticks have no battery at all, which won't be helping his course out here, but it's just about keeping the team within this 1 second. Unknown Sticks will keep the boost again for another lap here, kept it within the deadline. Steel unfortunately has dropped out of the boost zone mode. Slizzer behind him has got it. Reese is flying though, setting the fastest lap of the race. Obviously we know Reese has had a lot of pace in the previous red cars. I haven't really seen race round much in these regulations, so we'll see what Reese can do. It is nice to see it back out on track again for sure, even if it is in the slowest car in real life, and Reese showing what it can actually do on track. As the cars are settling down a little bit. Obviously it's a longer race here, they don't want to be taking wear out of these tyres at all. No real moves happening up and down the grid. V's trying to make a move on his teammate here. Will he make it stick? Doing the switchback on Unknown Sticks, gets it done. What a move from the Aston Martin driver there, even if it wasn't his own teammate. Once again showing that he has got the pace, and he is tearing through the grid now. and we'll see if Reese can make any more gains very shortly. Steele is holding off Slizzard very nicely indeed here, and then we have got the pack behind, which is Olavici, who I'm hoping is back in the session now. Please do let me know you're not in the session, I can tell it straight up. Let me try give you another invite, sir. I did drop you one. Apologies about that, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, being the only one here, I do need to drop the invites out for drivers that are leaving. Obviously, fish sticks on them softs is feeling a bit of pain. I think he ran the softs in the sprint race as well, but has dropped off the back of Slizzard here. It is hard on these tracks now where if you drop out of the boost modes and you can't get back in quickly, you do lose a load of time. It is worth noting that Steele, while he is on the hards, he isn't really dropping time to the cars ahead, so these hards will come into their own very shortly, as Junior Vane picks up 3 seconds. Very out of character for the Mercedes driver for sure. Must be suffering a bit of understeer sitting behind Hankers, as Reese makes the move into P6 on the Audi driver, and now he's got his eyes set on Johnny B. Ashdown making moves forward as well, no battery at all, puts himself into P4, so both Haas drivers looking very nice around here. I do wonder if Jack will slow down a little bit just to give his teammate that boost mode advantage still. As we'll continue back, and Steele is gaining time now. He's gained about half a second through the first sets of corners, so it won't be long hopefully until he's back in that boost mode range. Obviously the hard tyres aren't wearing as bad as the medium tyres. As you can see, he is gaining and gaining and gaining, as Olavici has left the session once again, so we'll drop him another invite out right now. Invite sent to you again, sir, as we'll look up Reese in the back of Johnny B here. Johnny B flashing. Reese is going to get the move done before turn 1 for sure. Puts himself up into P5. Slots in behind Ashdown here. And Reese is making moves very quickly. Ashdown has dropped off the back of his teammate, but just about within the boost range as well, as we've got moves on the back of It's Noah against Olavici bot. The bot is defending pretty hard. We'll see what It's Noah does. Leaves its space. Very nice move done. Obviously Gary with that drive through penalty puts himself down to P17 and out of sync of the rest of the grid, so we'll see what he can do from here. He probably does need a safety car here for sure. As we'll look back, Junior Vane is beginning to struggle here. We saw this in the sprint race as well. Once his good friend Hankers overtook him, he dropped out of the range. I think he's just... No, he hasn't kept it in the boost range mode there. He is going to be vulnerable now going down to turn 1 potentially. Jack W burning his battery. Junior Vane with no battery at all. So we'll see how this plays out as well. Reese B07 making moves once again. Puts himself into P4 and getting ever so close to this front fight. Reese is showing for sure that no matter what car he's driving and the regulations, he still can do potentially a last to first. Johnny B on the back of Ashdown as well. We are starting to see these gaps form. Unknown sticks 2 seconds back, but the big news here is that Steele has pulled that gap down to under 1 second. So he will be able to utilise that boost mode once we come back around again on the final corners, assuming obviously Steele can't keep it within that 1 second, which I have every utmost confidence that he can. As Ashdown has dropped off the back of Reese here, obviously that pure pace in the Aston Martin. The Aston Martins only wish they were this good in real life. Junior Vane still can't close that gap back up to Henkers, but Ashdown has taken an early pit stop here. Obviously listens to potentially this strategy, so we'll see what he does on tyre choice very shortly. First one to pit, he has gone to set up hards, so I do wonder if he listened to the strategy that I mentioned to Steele. Undercut here is very powerful with how the tyres wear, so we'll see what the Haas driver can do on his out lap. Comes out into clean air as soon as he gets some tyres up to temperature, which shouldn't take too long. He should start flying and pulling a gap back as well. Junior Vane has pulled that gap back to Henkers to under a second, so Henkers is either had a mistake or Junior Vane's pushing it back up again. But as we come through sector 3, the time is moving up and down. We'll see if Junior Vane can keep it within that 1 second, which by the looks of it he will do. So for the first time in about 3-4 laps, Junior Vane is back within boost mode of his good mate Henkers, and we'll see how that plays out. Johnny B flying into the pit, so Ashdown has triggered off the pit stops here potentially. Johnny B picks himself into a 10-second penalty, speeding in the pit lane, and he will be absolutely livid with himself there for sure, as all the other drivers decide to still stay out. We'll see where Ashdown is here. He should be quite a while ahead of Johnny B here, which Johnny B is leaving the pit lane now. Ashdown does come back out ahead, and he can have head down to continue pushing and getting them tyres up to temperature. About 1.5 seconds between the two drivers. As we'll jump forward again, Steele has moved himself up into P6. Unfortunately, I did miss that move. It does look like it happened there on this lap due to the boost mode differences, but Steele now 2.5 seconds behind 5th place. Obviously head down, them hards will go longer compared to the mediums. Assuming these guys in front are considering a 2-stop, we'll see if any of them will decide to pit in, which is a no. Karen stays out again. Steele is coming into the pit lane, so Steele committing to the 2-stop strategy as well. We'll see what tyres he goes on to, whether he'll do his mediums or hards. Fish sticks also into the pit lane to get rid of them 11 lap holes softs. Steele puts himself onto hards, so wants a medium run to see it out. As we jump on board going forward here, Sliz is looking for a move on unknown sticks. Gets the move done on the outside into turn 4. Great move from the Ferrari driver there, making moves. Unknown sticks definitely beginning to struggle on these mediums, and I do wonder if he will pit this lap or not. Silverside Boy has made a move in the pit lane, only in the pit lane though, and puts himself back down into P17. As Reese is up into the top 3 now, flow past Jack W on the back of Junior Vane here, pushing the Cad and the Mercedes driver around. Apologies. So we'll see what Reese will do here as they both continue on round. Junior Vane within that 1 second. We'll see what the battery differences are. Junior Vane has hardly got anything compared to Reese. Reese burning all the way down to turn 1, pulling alongside into turn 1, and the Aston Martin driver puts himself into P2. Great move from Reese there, as it was a move behind, I believe. Grunty has it's Karen going into the pit lane. He's now going on to set up hard. Grunty picked himself up a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately. Same as Johnny B. Although Johnny B's got a 10-second penalty. Apologies about that one. But Reese is making the moves here. He is showing he's got the pace in these new regulations, and I wonder what Henkers will do here to reply back. As we'll loop backwards down the grid now. Steele comes out into P12, puts himself within range of Karen though. So assuming he can keep within that range, he will pull himself forward, obviously. Karen is 2.3 seconds behind Johnny B, who is then 1.2 seconds behind Ashdown. Obviously our only pitters in that group. Then we have got Fish 660 and Silverside Boy who've all pitted as well. I do wonder if we'll see any moves from the top guys. Nope, they're all staying out. Unknown Sticks calls it time on them mediums as well, so jumps into the pit, so he's committing to a two-stop strategy at this point as well. As it's all quieting down a little bit. Obviously got moves happening. Unknown Sticks onto set of soft, so he's definitely doing a two-stop strategy at this point. SA Bolt onto the pits as well, he's going with his mediums. Goes on to set of hards. Olovici, I'm assuming that is his bot. I think. I can't quite tell. As Cruiser unfortunately picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. Wonder if that sitting behind the worms of Grunty is causing a bit of understeer backwards. Johnny B's back into 1 second of Ashdown. Unknown Sticks picks himself up a 3-second time penalty as well. Steel has unfortunately dropped back a little bit on this lap from boost mode, but still running very comfortably into P11. As Jack W is the first of all top four to pull the trigger and jump off those mediums. I wonder if he's going to try and pull off a one-stop strategy here, as he bolts on a set of hards and potentially could go to the end here. It's a big ass though for the tyres, as Grunty also pits, bolts on a set of hards and potentially can do the same. Steel though, coming down to turn 1, gets the move done onto Jack W, so that just proves how strong the undercut is here as well. Throws himself ahead of the man that was running in P4. Obviously Steel will need to pit again for sure. Jack though, I do wonder if he is going to try to go from the end at this point. Probably a little bit early on the call for the trigger though, as our top 2 will call it now. Junior Vane has fallen back. Henkers is managing the pace very nicely here. Stays out. Reese has jumped into the pits. Called it as well. Junior Vane also into the pits. Reese is locked up going into the pits, giving himself a 10-second time penalty. That has definitely ruined his chance of any chance of winning this race now. As Reese bolts on the hards, Junior Vane bolts on the hards. These two will definitely be looking to the end. Slizzed into the pits as well. He'll be going on the hards to the end potentially. I'm very surprised his drivers are going to risk a one-stop strategy here, as Johnny B and Ashdown fighting down into turn 1. Ashdown gets the move done, as we'll see what the drivers are doing here. Steel slots in behind Junior Vane. He has got Jack W over the back of him though currently. So a bit of a mix up in the order right now. Cruz are doing very well on the mediums as well. 15 laps. Henkers 15 laps. Olovici 15 laps. So we have got the 3 drivers that are pushing it as hard as they can. As it looked like for a minute there that the Audi driver had a puncture. But I think that's just how low he's running his car. But he is into the pits as well. Cruz, I imagine, will jump into the pits this time round. Reese is primed in P3 currently, coming around the final corner, so we'll see where he is compared to Henkers shortly. Henkers bolts onto his tyres, coming down the pit lane. Reese is going to take the lead of this race. Unfortunately, he does have that 10-second time penalty over his head. But we do have a new race leader in the form of Reese, so we can see what pace he's got at this point and whether he can pull that 10-second gap out that he so desperately needs. Olovici is obviously getting a bit swollen up by the guys that have pitted. I'm not quite sure why he hasn't pit yet, unless he's planning to do soft medium, which fair play if he is. Silver fraud boy down in P17 picks himself up a 3-second time penalty as well. As now the first round of pit stops has been complete. Obviously it's a bit early to tell what the driver's going to be doing here. We do know the likes of Ashdown, Johnny B, Karen, Steele have all got to pit again for sure. Ola Richie's definitely got to pit. The others look like they're potentially looking for a one-stop race here. So we'll see what the offset is between the one-stop and two-stop. But the guys that need to pit again will obviously gain the time back, as the guys in front will need to babysit their tyres to the end if that is what they're planning to do. As Ola Richie has left again. I'll get you an invite across now, sir. And I do believe his bot has pitted him onto another set of mediums. Apologies about that one, Ola Richie. It looks like your bot hasn't got any common sense at all. But Steele now up into P8, looking very comfy on the back of Jack W, who looks like he got the move done as well. But Steele running very well here indeed. As long as he keeps within that boost mode, he'll be pulled along. Obviously needs to make another pit stop at some point. But it all seems to have quieted down a little bit. Johnny B in the back of Ashdown here will jump on board with this one to see if Johnny B can get the move down before turn 1. He is pushing the house. What an exit from the Alpine driver there. Not even before the start finish line. Gets the move done. Ashdown loses 2 places. Karen goes flying past as well. Junior Vane potentially looking for the move as well. Ashdown, as it looks like there's a bit of contact between the two drivers. Ashdown has just lost 4 places coming down that start finish line. Mixed with a bit of contact from Mercedes driver, and what a nightmare for the Haas driver that is. Definitely not what he wanted, but that just shows the power of having their boost mode as well. As Johnny B licking his lips at that one, what he just did, and caused a chain reaction for Ashdown to lose 4 positions. As it'll quiet him back down again as the drivers look to recharge batteries and go from there. Henkers is pulling the gap to Reese. He is within that 1 second, so he will get boost mode here as well. But we'll jump back to this mid-pack fight. As Karen now on the back of Johnny B. Battery level looking a lot more healthy compared to Johnny B, at least double the battery. So we'll see what Karen can do here. Easy gets the move done before turn 1, but it's Junior Vane going to try and make a move as well. Junior Vane loses 2 places. Johnny B loses 2 places down to turn 1. The power of the boost as well there. And the remaining positions stay as is currently. Unknown Sticks is keeping Slizzy behind him for P9 currently. And then looking further back, as we have got another move up front. Junior Vane's made the move on Karen back into P3. So Junior Vane back into the position he was before the pit stop started now. I wonder how much life he's had to take out some tyres though to get back up to that position. Obviously a bit of a train behind, as we did see, I think that was Steele run a bit wide coming out of the top bit of the hill. But we'll see what the drivers do. As Henkers pulls himself into the 1 second gap of Reese. Junior Vane is pulled ahead of Karen. Karen is going to use his battery here. Johnny B looking very punchy as well potentially. Pulls out, won't make the move over, a bit too far back. And the top 8 stay as is for time being. We've got Laser Mate looking for move. Brilliant move into turn 1 on the outside. Can he keep the move through turn 2? He can't. Unknown Sticks gets that move back through turn 2. And Slizzard is going to have to think of something better to try to do there. But this fight from 22 drivers is pulling Fish Sticks up into the fight as Slizzard does get the move done into turn 4. Johnny B loses position to Jack W as well, but will jump back to Slizzard and Unknown Sticks. And it looks like it's calmed down for now. Slizzard moves into P9, but this has moved Fish Sticks up into boost mode, who we do know is going to have to box again. So we'll move forward back through the grid again. Hank is just about holding on here. Puts himself into boost mode range again, although that looks like it's glitched potentially. I'm sure he is in boost mode range there. Anyway, Junior Vane is holding off Karen again. Ashdown jumping into the pits for his second pit stop, so we'll see what he bolts on here. I imagine it's going to be another set of hards to the end, but we will see. And that is hards bolted on for Ashdown, who will now run them to the end. He should come out in front of SA Bolt quite easily here. A bit of fresh air in front of him, but he should catch Cruiser and Grunty pretty quickly. So we'll jump forward again. Johnny B losing touch to the top 5. Steel in P7, keeping on the back of Johnny B, as we have got moves behind of It's No Repeating and Olavici Bot moving into 16th. If you do need an invite, Olavici, let me know. I have dropped you an invite. But yeah, the gaps are beginning to open up. Steel just about outside the range, and he will jump into the pits this lap, which will be obviously for his mediums. He's following Johnny and Karen into the pit lane, who I both believe will need to put hards on, but Steel will have the quicker tyre in mediums. So we'll see what the pace of the Red Bull has as their mediums get bolted on now. Johnny B, yeah, Karen's got a set of hards on. Johnny B got held because he sped into the pit lane last time, so Steel makes a place up in the pit lanes as Cruiser and Grunty go flying past the top 2 side by side through turn 1. Come out ahead of Karen, who won't be wanting to be held up here. Obviously, Ashdown is ahead of Steel. Steel's got them quicker tyres on now though, so we'll see what he can do from here. Karen gets the moves on to Cruiser into turn 4. Wanted to try to get past them as quick as possible. Obviously got the better tyres. As Silverside Boy pits from last, or pits to last side. So he's in the pit lane again with hards to the end. And I think that is all the pit stop rounds done. Fish Sticks decides to bolt on another set of softs. So we'll see what he can do with them there. But yeah, Steel's closed the gap up to Ashdown, so he'll be in the boost mode. Obviously the fresh rubber of the mediums will be helping him out quite a bit here. We've got Cruiser, who looks like he's going to go to the end now. I think the top 6 are going to try to go to the end as well, as we'll look at Grunty and Karen. Karen gets to move on down on Grunty into turn 1. Cruiser's just a passenger here for sure, as Slizzard is in a world of his own right now. Jack W has dropped off the back of Junior Vane. Junior Vane is in a bit of a world of his own, and Henkers and Reese are pushing ahead. So yeah, the closest fight we have on track we have got currently is for P6 and potentially P9 and 10. Ashdown all over the back of Cruiser, who has got them 7 lap old hards on. Gary with another 3-second time pill, so that puts him up to 6 seconds now. But we'll stay on board of this fight here. Ashdown is going to stay behind Cruiser to get that boost mode. Steel is keeping within the touching distance as well. as we'll see what will happen here now. Grunty has got hardly no, well, Grunty has got no battery to put onto the main straight. Karen's got 50%, sets the fastest lap so far of the race. Grunty no battery. Cruiser is closing that gap up. Ashdown's going to make a move on to Cruiser down to turn 1, sent it up the inside, get it stopped in time. Fantastic lap there as Johnny Beano gets the fastest lap of a 15.7. So Steele's now going to be sat behind Cruiser, who won't be wanting to sit there for too long, and you'll want to try to keep up with the likes of Ashdown. Jack W pulls himself into the range of boost mode into for Junior Vane as well, assuming he can keep the gap down here, which he does by using a bit of extra battery. Puts himself into boost mode, but that is beneficial for the Haas driver as Steele is pushing Smevens around the track. Got the move done on Cruiser, so trying to keep up with him. So Steele will want to try and look to move even further forward. Oh, as unfortunately Steele picks himself a 3-second time penalty up. What a shame. Looks like he just understeered over the edge of the track there. But Steele has got a lot of punchy speed here, using their mediums to his advantage. As Ashdown and Grunty go side by side through turn 1. Looks like a bit of contact. Grunty doesn't leave the space there on the exit. Steele mops it up there. And Ashdown will definitely feel a bit hard done to for sure. He deserved a bit of extra space there that Grunty didn't give. But Steele won't be complaining at all, as we've got a yellow flag ahead, which I'm not quite sure what that was for. I think we got I think it was Guy getting out of the way, the top two, which I'm not sure that has benefited Henkers at all. The gap has opened up now, 1.5 seconds to Reese, and I'm sure whatever happened there has just disadvantaged Henkers. And I'm not sure whether he'll be having a few words with Gary after this race, as we'll move back and Johnny B's making moves on SA Bolt. They're going 3 wide down to find into sector 3. Unknown Stick sends it down the inside of both of them. Keeps it nicely tidy. SA Bolt loses traction on them 12 lap old Haas. Johnny B gets the move done as well, but we'll move forward again as Steele's getting the move done on Grunty, and Grunty looked like he once again moved over very late on another driver. And I do wonder if Steele won't be too happy with that one, but now puts himself a bit of breathing space between him and Ashdown, and can try and push forward to try and hunt down P6. So we'll jump back to Ashdown to see if he'll attempt to make any moves coming through this twisty section of sector 2. I think he'll use his noggin here and stay sat behind, as we've got Fish Sticks making moves as well. We have got a yellow flag, which I think is for SA Bolt, but gets himself moving again. Olavici has unfortunately pitted for softs, which have no doubt beat for his bot. But we will move forward again. Ashdown is losing time to Grunty ahead. Not sure whether he had a moment or something there, but the gap has definitely opened up a little bit. Grunty keeping on the back of Steele. Steele using his battery. That gap to P6 is beginning to reduce. So Steele's definitely got the pace here. As at this point you do think the top 5 are hanging out for this one stop, so we'll see what their tyres, or try and get some feedback on what the tyres were like, and go from there. But yeah, the gaps on the track begin to open up as we get to this final stage of the Grand Prix now. The closest battles on track are this P8 down, and Steele has just about opened this gap up to himself and Grunty as well. So Grunty is now beginning to struggle in 13 lap old hards. Ashdown will be looking to try and get this move done on Grunty as soon as possible to try and close that gap back up, as there is another yellow flag, which I think is SA Bolt. coming out of the pit lane. Not quite sure why that threw yellow flags there, but Grunty has now been lapped by the front leaders. As we'll jump back again. Grunty has been dropped by Steele, so Ashdown's got a perfect opportunity here to try and get the move down to turn 1. Will he try and make a move here? Grunty moves over, Ashdown moves over as well, and pulls out the move. Very last second, but very late moves again from Grunty there. As we will stay on board with this, as this is the closest start we got on track currently. Ashdown all over the back of the Williams driver here. Needs to get the move done sooner rather than later. Obviously Cruz is just behind as well in P10. That 3-second time penalty should just about keep himself in P10. As Ashdown is charging his battery for another charge at Grunty down to turn 1. Grunty doing the same as well, recharging his battery to try to defend with. Use a little bit of boost down on the exits to try and push himself forward. As we see Steele's pitting. Oh no. Steele must have picked up some damage somewhere. Steele going for the fastest lap attempt then. Fair play to the Red Bull driver. Maybe he felt like he didn't have the pace to stay on, or maybe it was something wrong with their mediums. As we'll jump forward then, so Johnny be promoted into P10, as we'll still jump on forward with Ashdown, who's biding his time behind Grunty. So I wonder if he's going to try and make a last lap move here to secure himself P7, although he doesn't need to make the move because he will get it on track. But yeah, as we get to the final stage of this Grand Prix, obviously the gaps are pretty big at this point. The top 5 all on a one-stop strategy, looking like there's no intention to slow down at all. As Karen is trying to catch up to Slater, but I don't think he'll have enough time to do it. Grunty 5 seconds behind, but his closest battle is still Ashdown on Grunty. And Ashdown looks like he's just missing that little bit of straight line speed that is needed to get the move done. Grunty's tyres are 16 lap old compared to Ashdown's 9 lap old hard, so Grunty is going to start feeling the side effects of some of this wear that I've been mentioning. As I will just take a moment to get a bit of a breather before we go into the closing stages. S8 Bolt with the fastest lap of the 15-2, a fantastic lap from the McLaren driver down there at P15. As Gary now gets overtaken by a couple other drivers. Ashdown looked for the move out Grunty, but Grunty moved over again. Caused contact with the Haas driver. I don't think he'll be too impressed about that one at all. As S8 Bolt gets himself a 10-second time penalty for ignoring blue flags. You do need to get out of the way then, blue flags, S8 Bolt. As we'll jump forward again, Ashdown still picking his time off here. Like I said, doesn't need to get the move done on track. Will get the position due to the time penalty that Grunty's got. As this is still our closest fight on track, as Steele puts himself a 14.4 on the board for fastest lap of the race. So he will get obviously that point for the fastest lap, as Ashdown makes the move onto Grunty there. Bit of a dive, but just about gets it to stick. Ashdown's task now is just to keep him behind and hope there's no contact between the two drivers at all. As there's a bit of a train forming behind these now. Obviously, Silverside Boy's being lapped, so he's just clinging onto the back of this. As Grunty looked like he might have made the move there, decides against it. And Ashdown is going to have to recharge his battery as much as he can here, as we have got a yellow flag out through Sector 1. And that looks like Steel potentially. Oh, Steele's run out of fuel. That's why he boxed. Oh, that's very unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. But we are on the last lap of the race, as we will move back now to this fight for P8. Gunty did try to make the move, but didn't get stick. Cruz around the outside now. Is he going to make a last minute move into turn 4? Down the inside of the Williams driver. Gets the move done. Steele with a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, obviously trying out the way because he's got no fuel. As Grunty goes off track there. Johnny B now looking for a move. No, it was not Johnny B, that was Gary. Go away, Gary. As Steele retires in the pits, and rightly so, as I have missed the drivers come over the line unfortunately, so Henkers wins it on track due to Reese's 10-second time penalty. Reese in P2, Jack W P3, Junior Vane P4, Sliz is going to come round the corner to get a P5 here. Fair play to drivers that stuck out one stop for sure. P5 for Slizzy, Karen's P6, Ashdown is going to take P7 here. Johnny B has got P9. Grunty's had a mistake somewhere, so Ashdown P7, Cruiser P8. Johnny B is going to come across the line on P9. Unknown Sticks in P10. As that looks like a punch hit for the Williams driver. And that is what happens when you hang your tyres up for 18 laps around Barcelona. And we'll just wait for It's Noah to come across the line here. And that is all she wrote for Tier 1 around Barcelona. So we will just do a quick rundown of the results from the main race. I will just need to go across. So we've got Henkers, Reese, Jack W, Junior Vane, Slizzer, Karen, Ashdown, Cruz, Johnny B and Unknown Sticks as a top 10. And we got Fish Ticks, Grunty, It's Nowhere, SA Bolt, Olavici, Silverside Boy, Steele, who unfortunately ran out of fuel but did claim the fastest lap, and Pigley, who is a big fraud. And then obviously the sprint results as well, just so I can catch them on stream. So driver of the days. Oh. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Fish Sticks Club driver of the day for the sprint race, P14 to P7. And then for the main race, Reese is going to try and call this because he moved obviously up quite a few places. But I think I'm going to give the main race driver of the day to... do I give it Reese? Don't give it Reese. He did have that 10-second being a fraud, but he did get one stop to work and went last to first pretty much. Yeah, go on Reese, you can have my driver of the day for the main race. So with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to give my voice a rest now. Thank you for tuning in. If you have tuned in, I do really appreciate it, and apologies that you have had that to listen to my voice for the past hour and 48 minutes. Please do join us again on Monday for the Tier 2 race around Las Vegas. And yeah, that's TJM 1992 sign off. Peace out, mother truckers.